In 1980, I was born with no arms and shortened legs. In 2016, 2017, a friend of ours who is a puppy raiser for Canine Companions started talking to us about getting a dog. And I was of the opinion that other people needed a dog way more than I did. I couldn't see the need. Family or friends around me could see the need, but I couldn't. And we met her one time, and she had a puppy in training, and he was amazing and could do so many cool things. And I'll never forget the person I interviewed when I did my in-person interview. She said, "Well, you're very high need, so we're gonna have to find a very special dog because you have almost everything on this list is what our dogs do." Because here I was thinking, other people need this more, and the professionals over here saying, "No, this is really good fit for you." Now I've been with Miles for 5 years, and he's an amazing dog. One of the biggest benefits of having him is when I go out by myself, people don't stare at me anymore, they stare at him. And I don't get questions like, what happened to you, or were you born that way, or things that are very awkward in public. I get questions like, what kind of dog is that? Or where did you get him? Or what can he do for you? That really changed my life. But I guess I was constantly on guard, and I never realized it. I hold things with my feet, but I'm very prone to dropping things. And so dropping things in the middle of a store is incredibly awkward because I got to climb down out of my wheelchair and get it. I can be holding onto my phone and not make a move, and it just drop. I still don't know how that happens, but he is great about. We have a loop on the back of the phone, and usually it lands face down, and he just grabs the loop and picks it back up and hands it to me. I took him one of the first times after training, and he and I went to a grocery store, and I came out and I wasn't stressed, and immediately realized, oh my goodness, all those other times, like, this is what it could have been if I had done this earlier. I can open a door and push it out, but it's very difficult to reach and grab a door and pull it back towards me. I don't know the number of times that I've lost my balance and almost fallen, or just not been able to get the door, back to where it needs to be. He also has learned how to do a transaction, and so he can take the credit card from me and rear up and pay the cashier. As much as I did not acknowledge the fact that I needed him, I think my wife and other family members saw it before I did. And so I think it didn't come as much of a surprise to them as it did to me, how much it changed my stress level and things like that, and being independent and being alone. I think my family would have more confidence in the fact that he's with me, and instead of just being by myself. It allows me to still be independent when they're around. We kind of tease sometimes. Every once in a while, if he's not with me and I drop something, I'll tease one of the kids and go, "Miles, pick that up." And one of them will laugh and pick it up for me. But the fact that they would have to do those things and me relying on them, which they're happy to, but that's not their role in life, and it is his. And so I think that that's a really neat thing. I don't know how many people I've met who have met him or who knew me already and then met Miles and then started talking about their experiences, maybe with other organizations. And often what comes up is the sheer cost of it. And as soon as I start talking about how this organization is donor-driven, a look of confusion comes on their face because they can't imagine. The first time I brought Miles to our veterinarian, I walked in and she had her tech with her, and she saw Miles' vest, and she turned to her tech and goes, "That's a real service dog. You don't ever have to question that logo right there." And like, that was unsolicited. So I kind of had pride in that she acknowledged, of all the dogs that she's seen, that this is the organization she trusts. And I've flown before and had flight attendants tell me that they're so glad that a Canine Companions dog is here, because they know that that's not going to have he or she is not going to have any trouble on the flight and different things like that. And so I've never met anyone who has had a negative view, and not only negative, but just glowingly positive of Canine Companions. I would say to the donors and the people who support Canine Companions, I can't say thank you enough to have Miles with me. And it's easy to focus on the transactions, the things he can do, the stuff he does, but it's the intangibles. It's the living stress-free, or as much as you can. It's the living without the concern of what's going to happen in public. when various things happen. None of those things occur to me anymore because he's by my side. And I know it takes a lot of money and a lot of funds and a lot of effort, but it's worth it all. I know it's easy to think of this as in a personal way, to say thank you for Miles, but there's hundreds of people waiting. There's thousands of teams in the community. And to say that these dogs are tens of thousands of dollars in money and in training time, in resources, I mean, think of that, tens of thousands just for him, times the hundreds of people that are waiting, times the thousands that have already been done. The scope of this organization is huge, and that's why it takes every dollar that can be given becomes important at that point, because there's always a huge waiting list.